Welcome to Fight News Now Extra. It's John Pollock with you, and we'll have Robin Black and John Ramdeen joining the desk in a couple of minutes. Today's news includes Sarah Kaufman calling for a rematch in her next outing. Carlos Condit finally has a target for a return to the octagon, and two fighters indicate they have received an invite from the world's largest wrestling organization. Chael Sonnen appeared on TSN's Off the Record this week and stated that the WWE had invited Sonnen to Santa Clara, California for WrestleMania weekend to discuss business, with Sonnen adding that Wanderlei Silva has also been invited. The WWE was quick to deny that any invitation had been sent out to Sonnen, but then Wanderlei Silva posted online that he had received a big offer from the WWE and asking fans what they think. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter has reported that Silva was contacted by the organization on Thursday. Welterweight Carlos Condit has been on the sidelines since March of last year when he suffered a torn ACL during his fight with Tyron Woodley at UFC 171. Condit was at UFC 183 this past weekend and spoke to members of the media, stating that he is hopeful of fighting on the May 23rd Memorial Day card in Las Vegas. And Sarah Kaufman has been aggressive in looking to land a rematch with Miesha Tate in her next fight. Kaufman posted a video with Tate's walkout music playing and proceeded to smash a cupcake on the video. Kaufman and Tate did fight once prior in May of 2009, with Kaufman defeating Tate by unanimous decision. Kaufman was victorious in her last fight over Leslie Smith last April, and Tate has won her last three. Here with Robin Black and John Ramdeen. And I guess, John, that you heard about this Chael Sonnen and Wanderlei Silva news because you are wearing Tap Out, a company that is about to enter an agreement with the WWE to become a sponsor.
Yeah, that's super cool. I mean, it makes sense because right now, I know a lot of MMA fans, they don't understand that there is history and there's a correlation between mixed martial arts and professional wrestling. People, MMA's roots is in pro wrestling, so you can understand why Wanderlei Silva would go to the WWE, or Chael Sonnen, just like Brock Lesnar, would come back to the UFC and probably be one of, if not the promotion's biggest stars.
There's no bigger fight purist, martial arts purist in the world than me, but Ramdeen does speak the truth. I mean, when you look at the building blocks of MMA, he's a historian. You look at the building blocks from Vale Tudo over here, from pro wrestling over in Japan. I mean, there was a huge ingredient where pro wrestling went over into the Pancrase organization, where those things did cross over. So whether you're a pure fight purist like I am, you can't deny the truth.
There's a big obstacle in their way, and that is the fact that, you know, especially in Wanderlei Silva's case, still under contract to the UFC would have to be able to give him the okay to go do this.
Even though it's completely different.
It's in their contracts.
Yeah.
They cannot do professional wrestling.
Yeah, and I hope they do. You know, Wanderlei
can't make any money. He can't make any money elsewhere. He's
Yeah.
not going to be fighting anytime soon.
And you know what? You remember the day Dana White was like the biggest Wanderlei fan going. The UFC, they really were. Everybody loved this.
He still would be.
And
Wanderlei Silva
yeah.
makes money for the UFC. Fact is, if he was able to compete right now, and Wanderlei Silva, you put this guy on Fox, you put him on pay-per-view, people are going to pay money to watch Wanderlei Silva because he has a specific fan-friendly style that is go out looking for the knockout, and whether he knocks you out or he gets knocked out, that's normally how Wanderlei Silva's fights play out.
People don't remember things. We're in a world we're bombarded with weird information. You go check out a website, whoisu2.com. U2 is one of the biggest bands of the last 20 years. Hundreds of thousands of people just talking about how much they hate this band that gave them a free record and because they don't know who they are. So if you don't know who U2 is, you don't remember that Wanderlei Silva was once a beloved warrior. All they remember is for 10 minutes people don't like Wanderlei.
I go on Daily Motion myself.
We have no time for those people.
Let's chat a bit about Carlos Condit, who's been the forgotten welterweight. I was there in Dallas, actually, for the fight with Tyron Woodley, and this injury that this man suffered, I mean, Joe Rogan alluded to it when he kind of like winced, and then it was that one kick, and this man looked like he had been shot. It was a devastating knee injury, and here it looks to be roughly 14 months in between fights if he does, in fact, get to fight in May, but he's coming back into the division of the Sharks at 170 pounds. I still maintain a healthy Carlos Condit is a title contender.
Apex predator, Carlos Condit, without question. Yes, he's diving into a very, very dangerous division with some of the top fighters in mixed martial arts. But that's the great thing about Carlos Condit. He is one of those guys, and he will be able to compete with any guy at the top of 170 pounds. And just the idea of a bunch of cool matchups, a matchup with Brandon Thatch and Carlos Condit, give me a break. Robbie Lawler, Carlos Condit. You just look at a lot of those fights at 170 pounds. If he challenges for a title or not, who cares? Pay this guy to fight because he entertains.
I could see Thiago Alves
exactly.
fight in May.
Exactly.
From a timing standpoint.
Exactly. Awesome.
Hold a gun to my head and say, tell me, quick, list your 5 favorite fighters. Carlos Condit's going to be one of them.
Of course.
He's one of the very best martial artists on the planet. If you just watch for the pure expression of skills, violent skills, this guy has them. Again, we have short memories, but don't forget how good this guy is. Go, if you got Fight Pass or you stream something, I don't know how you watch stuff, go watch some Carlos Condit fights, man. He is one of the very best fighters in the world. We're lucky to have this guy back.
Quickly on Sarah Kaufman, this is interesting because typically you don't get a fighter that owns a win over somebody. It was years ago, but nonetheless a victory over Miesha Tate. I thought this video was just super simple and effective. I think it showed it was fun, smashes a cupcake, and I think people want to see this fight now. I thought it was, good on her.
I agree 100% because Sarah Kaufman not really known for these type of things because we've all seen.
And you become a wallflower.
Yes, that's true.
It's not something that some fighters, I understand, it's not their personality. They feel it's prostituting themselves. It's not. It's just simply, hey, I'm now giving you a reason to look at one fight amongst hundreds you see every year, and it gives you a reason to want to see it.
That's true.
I think she'll get this fight. She is one of my very favorite fighters out there. Her and Ronda are my 2 favorite women fighters probably in history. Sarah's a phenomenal athlete, a great striker, and this was not out of her character to be able to pull this off the way that she did. I mean, personally, I wish we didn't have to do stuff like that. But interestingly, you're right. She has a win over her, but Miesha Tate's a bigger name and a bigger star, and more people know her. Sarah'd like to go in and smash that cupcake.
All right. Coming up this weekend, we got Glory, and other than that, a fairly quiet weekend of MMA. We'll be back next week, but more Fight News Now extras coming up, so stay tuned.